Do you think that we're going to live in a more virtual world?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, let's look at the recent past. In 1999, there was no online gaming. I mean, in 1999, I went online for the first time with a dial-up modem to play Duke Nukem 3D, and it wasn't really the internet. It was me and Dennis, my friend, who was playing from his father's computer. That's 20 years ago. Well, 25, right? Today, everybody's online gaming in the train, in the metro. I mean, not everybody is a gamer, but all of us are instantly connected to each other all the time, and part of our lives take place in a digital realm. In fact, the statistics show that children between 9 and 19 spend an average of 8 hours a week in virtual worlds with virtual assets, virtual avatars, virtual fashion, creating virtual worlds or things or games and trading them, etc. So it is 100% clear that we're seeing a massive change in how we spend our time and where we spend our time and in what reality we spend our mental presence, so to speak. That trend's not going to change because technology is just getting better. The speed at which we are able to interact and transact data is getting faster, and the realism of the environments that we live in and the complexity of them is growing increasingly. And now we're also at the point where we're seeing this kind of self-accelerating development where on the one hand we're increasingly in digital worlds, and on the other hand we created technology to allow us to have value in those worlds, right? Web3 and decentralized technologies allow us to, for the first time, have virtual worlds where the assets are not owned by the studios that made them, and our activities and all of that are not subject only to their rules and regulations, but we can create these virtual worlds where we can have value and exchange it just like in the real world. Yeah.
Do you know something that I find really specific when you compare that AR, VR, like the tech that everybody is like really excited about, and then you've got the AI that everybody's also both afraid of, I guess, and excited about. That third element of the Web3, the creation of self-sovereignty, ownership, and the ability to own stuff. I was talking to Eric Weiner from Near, and he was just like, I feel like as a society, we collectively forgot what it actually means to own stuff. Because we got used to like the subscription model and hopping online to check something if it's still there just because we subscribe to it. That's not ownership. Neither is owning items in League of Legends, because you don't own those assets. You can't keep them in any way if the game goes down. Either way, I feel like blockchain isn't as popular as AR, VR, and AI and like daily conversation. It's still a lot more niche. It's just because the concept that it brings to this future that we're talking about is a little bit more abstract. It's not as physically tangible as what's going on with AR and VR, which is like a very much in your face. The physical world is changing because of the way we're augmenting it or moving into virtual worlds. But then with blockchain, they're just kind of like, oh, you know, this doesn't matter. And I'm just like, this is the most important part. This is the thing that can underpin the other two, because without it, we're just basically strengthening the same centralized, unchecked centralization. I always say unchecked because the mass of people don't really know that they're operating under some kind of centralized system. They don't really think about their Google Drive, their accounts on Meta and everything being anything centralized. But it's abstract, so we just kind of forget about it.
I think you're definitely right. It is the least popular of the three, and the reason for that is that it is the less tangible. The thing with Web3 is that you can't really see it. Exactly. You can't really see it, and you can't really experience it, because what you experience at the end of the day is not very different from what you experience today in the daily life. Because if I send money from my bank account to your bank account, in essence, it doesn't feel very different for an average person than sending a digital asset on a blockchain from my wallet to your wallet, right? The fact that the underlying technology and the consequences of the technology are far different does not really make a difference for my experience.